While his country is being blasted by Russian airstrikes, with Kyiv hit by a massive drone attack over the weekend, the largest since the start of the war, Ukraine's president is sending the U.S. a Memorial Day message, airing exclusively here on MSNBC, honoring those who defend freedom.
On behalf of all Ukrainians, I would like to honor the courage and self-sacrifice of all Americans who stood in defense and keep defending the freedom. Your freedom stood thanks to those who fought for it. Our freedom will stand thanks to those who are fighting for it. The freedom is underpinned by the bravery of the best of their kind and by the readiness of young men and women who serve their nation in the military to become the best of their kind and make their bravery the basis for the future of their nation. When we remember the warriors who sacrificed their lives in the name of freedom, we recall the reason why we are alive, why we live the way we like, and why our free nations stand. It is our duty to teach children that freedom cannot be taken for granted. It is our duty to teach them to be grateful. It is our duty to acknowledge each and every who dedicated their lives to defend the freedom, the noble and free banner of their country and people. It is our duty to remember what price was paid to keep the light of freedom, despite all dark times that came down. We, Ukrainians, will always be grateful to the U.S. and every American for an extraordinary support which helps us confine the Russian tyranny to the losers, those who lost to the freedom. My special gratitude on this Memorial Day goes to all Americans of different times, sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters who became the warriors and whose strengths turned into the strengths of freedom and who were destined to show to the world that freedom will always shine bright on the hill. Let our victory of the Ukrainian warriors make this light shine brighter. God bless America. Slava Ukraini.
Joining me now, former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor. You know, often on these holidays, it's about, barbecues and picnics and sometimes parades. It's seldom about the heart of what he just spoke of, not just why we're able to live as we do, but his message that there's a price to be paid for freedom. America has paid it many times. Now the Ukrainians are paying it. I wonder what you make of what you heard from President Zelensky.
So, Chris, the heartfelt feelings that President Zelensky just expressed represent the feelings of Ukrainians. I was there last week with a group. We heard from Ukrainians across the spectrum, up and down. We heard from soldiers. We heard from civilians who are supporting the military. President Zelensky expressed that view that they feel, that is, number one, thanks to the United States, a real appreciation of what the United States has done. Number two, the commitment to continue to fight for that freedom. And he's right. It cannot be taken for granted. They are fighting. They are losing people every day. They are sacrificing a lot for their own freedom. They are defending us, Chris, in some real sense, with their valiant fight.
So let's talk about that fight, because Russia is absolutely pounding right now Ukraine's capital. But a senior advisor to President Zelensky told us at NBC News that Ukraine was almost ready to start what he called a big operation. What do you think that's going to look like, this new phase of the war?
This new phase of the war, Chris, is coming, and it's coming soon. We heard that all last week with this group, RDI, that I was with. The Minister of Defense was very clear about the forces that they are putting together, that they are assembling, that they are readying with new equipment, new soldiers, and they are ready. They are they are psyched. The soldiers that I talked to, both the privates, the lieutenants, the generals, they are ready. What it'll look like, Chris, it's a good question. No one knows where or when, but it's likely that they will use these new forces to concentrate and break through Russian lines, break through the lines that the Russians have been digging in and trying to defend. And with these new units, these strong, new, high morale, well-equipped, well-trained units to break through these Russian lines, get into the Russian rear, get into the back part of the Russian occupation of Ukraine, and cause panic in the Russian rear. We hear that the Russians are worried about this. They are concerned about this, and they should be. The Ukrainians are readying this assault.
So much of what we hear from inside Russia, Ambassador, is frankly just all propaganda from Vladimir Putin. Now Russian media is reporting that Moscow is putting Senator Graham on a wanted list. He responded with a statement: "I will wear the arrest warrant issued by Putin's corrupt and immoral government as a badge of honor." We only have a minute left, but I wonder what you make of this.
So Senator Graham is right. He is on a list that includes about 1,000 people. I'm on that list. Many people are on that list, and he's right. This is a badge of honor. No one's going to Russia. We are united with Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians are going to win, and we're going to support them as they do win.
Ambassador William Taylor, we do appreciate you spending part of this Memorial Day with us. Thank you.